a Member of Parliament which is closer to our electorate, Mrs. Helen Shardy, Member for Caulfield.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the second stream of very short speeches, and I won't take up too much of your time. Suffice to say, I would like to recognise the presence of Ted Baillieu, the Leader of the Opposition, Rabbi Chaim Herzog, Rabbi and Rebbetzin Telsner, Rabbi Heinz V. Groner, other rabbis, communal leaders, ladies and gentlemen. It's certainly a pleasure to participate tonight in the lighting of the Chanukah, this the second night of the Festival of Hanukkah. Tonight's function brings together two important organisations in the Jewish community. It brings together the Chabad of CBD and it brings together the Yeshiva Centre. And in particular, Rabbi Herzog represents the Chabad of CBD and Rabbi Chaim Zvi Groner represents the Yeshiva Centre. I'm particularly pleased to see Rabbi Groner Jr., I suppose you would call him, here tonight because his father, Rabbi Groner, was the person who came to Australia in 1949 to establish the yeshiva here in Victoria. And so he comes from a very strong history of Hasidic Judaism here in Victoria. The Chabad of CBD, as we have heard, was established some 10 years ago. As the representative of the then Premier, I attended I think it was the inaugural function of the Chabad of CBD, and it was a Purim festival, a Purim celebration, which I'm sure some of you know and understand. And it was a great pleasure for me at that time to represent the Premier. I think I was the only woman amongst some 15 gentlemen at that particular function. And of course, the Chabad of CBD in servicing the Orthodox community in the city of Melbourne has been highly successful and has serviced that community well. Now, some of my colleagues yesterday asked me about the festival of Hanukkah. And so with the miracle of the internet, and we are talking about miracles today, I was able to provide them with the link to Hanukkah. I think it's called Judaism 101. And so they were able to learn about the long history going back to the time of Alexander the Great, going back to the time of the triumph of the Maccabean soldiers over the then Greek oppressors. And they also learnt about the miracle of the temple lights, whereby a small amount of oil, which was only supposed to last one day, lasted 8 days. The lesson of Hanukkah, I think, also helps us continue to want to work against and support anti-Semitism. And I think in our community we have seen the rise, very sadly, of anti-Semitism, and particularly in the case of Menachem Vorsheimer, a case which has not finished, a case which we would like to see a better outcome because it is an important case. It also reminds us and helps us support the State of Israel as a home for the Jewish people, and as well our particular support for every effort to obtain peace in the Middle East. And so in celebrating the miracle of Hanukkah, we also celebrate the triumph of good over evil, the triumph of lightness over darkness, and I would like to wish you all Chag Sameach.
Thank you, Mrs. Helen Shardy. I'd like now to call upon Rabbi Chaim Zvi Groner, the head of Eil Dveira.
Thank you, Rabbi Herzog, Leader of Opposition, Mr. Ted Baillieu, Mrs. Helen Shardy, Member for Caulfield, all other parliamentarians here, my esteemed sister and brother-in-law, Rabbi and Rebbetzin Telsner, Dean of the Yeshiva Centre, and I'd just like to make mention of the fact that for 33 years they lived in London, and tonight we've brought them here to the Queen's Hall to maybe give them a taste. They shouldn't be that homesick. It is a great pleasure to be here this evening. It is very significant, as has been mentioned by the previous speakers, that this Chanukah celebration takes place here in Parliament House, in the Queen's Hall. And it's also a special tribute to Chabad of the Melbourne CBD, to Rabbi Chaim Herzog's outstanding work over the past 10 years here in the Melbourne CBD area. And I think that there's a specific connection that the work of Chabad in the CBD has with Chanukah. Chanukah is the victory of the Jews in their practice of our religion, that we should be able to practice our religion in our daily lives. And we are very thankful and grateful to the Almighty God that we live in a country which recognizes God. And we live in a country which, together with its local legislation of laws, has, of course, the authority of God above them. I believe that Parliament sessions open with a prayer to the Almighty God. The court system is also related to God. This reminds me of a story which happened. A rabbi was once called during the week in his office. And this particular rabbi's synagogue, his shul as we call it, was not far from the local government offices. And from time to time, official dignitaries would visit that synagogue. So somebody called once during the week and asked, Rabbi, will the governor is the governor expected to attend this Saturday morning in shul? So he said, I can't guarantee that the governor will be there, but I can guarantee you that we expect God to be there. And God is alive and well here in Australia, here in Victoria, and here in the Melbourne CBD. Thank God for that. And during business hours as well, the work of the Chabad of CBD is such that it gives the opportunity to all those who wish, during the hectic hours that they spend doing their business here in the Melbourne CBD, to have a shiur, which is a short study group, and other ways of expressing Jewish religious practices, like the Sukkah, which is here in City Square during the festival of Sukkot, a Purim luncheon, and the reading of the Megillah, etc. And this is very much appreciated. On behalf of my father, Rabbi Grona Sr., may he be well, who, as Helen Shadi mentioned, came here the first time in 1947. Just the other day he celebrated his 49th anniversary and began his 50th year of service to the Australian Jewish community, and particularly to the Victorian Jewish community. And on behalf of him, on behalf of my father and my mother, I congratulate Rabbi Herzog and Chabad of the Melbourne CBD for their outstanding work over the past 10 years.